Hi, I'm Amy and this is A-Star Reads, and welcome to my much anticipated February TBR. I'm so excited. I started the game of a Bookish Life last month and I'm really excited to do it again this month. This time I'm doing something a little different because February is my birthday, so I will be playing the birthday edition and adding just a bit of a tweak just to kind of celebrate my birthday a little bit because I'm a February girl, and so I have added prompts that I will be picking from this little golden bag that are specific to my month and to me. And I'll give you a couple examples. A book that has a heart on the cover because February is Valentine's month. Recommended by a famous Pisces. I am a Pisces because my birthday is towards the end of the month. Written in the year of my mother's birth because my mother and my father both made me. And I have one for my father as well. This would be 1953 for my mom, and my dad was born in 1954. So I thought these were kind of fun. All of them have something to do with February, holidays in February, birthday, me and my life. Nothing too crazy, but it does make my game a little more challenging because I had to try to fit these prompts in. But I will say that I am making the birthday prompts a priority, so if the genre or the diversity rep I have to tweak a little bit, that's okay because this month is just a special, unique month. Next month I'll be going back to the way that the game is supposed to be played. And if you don't actually know the rules of my game, go ahead and look at the January video and I will link it above and down in the description box below. It has all the rules and it'll tell you everything you need to know about how to play this game. So before I get into my rules though, I'd like to talk about the progress that I have made so far on the books that I've been reading in January. I've read quite a few books this month so far. They're not all books from my spins yet. I still have about a week left, so I've got like 7 days left in the month that I can still continue reading these books. But let me go over them really quickly. I'm gonna need to use my notes, so if I look down a little bit, it's because of the notes. So for the first spin last month, I got Cat Pick YA Horror Thriller Mystery, and I was supposed to read Two Can Keep a Secret by Karen McManus, which I have not yet read. I will be reading it. I will be starting it this week. The second book is my YA Fantasy and Buzzwordathon book, which is over 500 pages, and for that I chose Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I have started it, I'm currently reading it, and I will get that done as soon as I can. It is a 500 and something page book, but it's YA, so it shouldn't be too bad. The third book was my travel-themed YA book, which I chose Wanderlove by Kirsten Hubbard, and I have read that. And then I had my Beach Vibes book that was also YA, and that was Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants by Anne Brashares. I have finished that. Finally, I chose a career card which gave me an accountant, so I had to have something with accountant vibes. And for that, it was also YA classics. So I actually chose a retelling of Pride and Prejudice called Pride by E.B. Savoy, and I have not yet started that. So I've got 3 books left on this list that I need to work on. Pride is actually my February book for the read-along I'm doing, so if I don't get to Pride in January and I have to move it to partially into February, I'm not too concerned about that because it's supposed to be the February book anyways. And then also an update on what I'm currently reading. Like I said, I'm currently reading Strange Dreamer. I'm also reading Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck with my nephew. We're reading it chapter by chapter because he has to read it for school. And if you've been following me for a while, you know that I started The Witching Hour by Anne Rice back in October, and I'm still working on it. But I'm making progress. I have less than 17 hours left. It's a 50-hour audiobook, and I've been listening to it quite a bit in the last couple of days, so I will finish that book. One of these days, I will finish that book. So I will be doing one readathon in the first week of February, and I will tell you about that after I've done all my spins. And I'm also gonna be doing a secret TBR. So even if it doesn't seem like I might be reading a lot of books this month based off what I tell you today, I've got a couple of doozies in there that you won't know about until I put that video up. If it works out, I mean, because February is a short month. I also have a few other books that I need to add to this that won't work into my rules, and I will tell you about those afterwards as well. And one last thing before I get to my spins, I have a very good friend named Magda, and she has been very supportive of my channel, and for various reasons, she's unable to actually do spins for herself. So I'm gonna be doing them for her, and I'll be adding that at the very end of this video, so if you're interested in seeing more spins, because it's always fun to just kind of watch the gameplay, go ahead and check that out. And Magda said she will be adding the books that she decides to pick for the choices in the comment section down below. So here's a chart that shows the spin tallies I have for last month. These are the numbers that I rolled on, and remember, if I hit one of these numbers 5 times, then I have to add another spin. So far, I'm not even close. Let's hope I keep in this vein because I have a lot of books to read this month. Okay, I need good vibes because this is my birthday month and I have a lot of books I need to fit on here. So we need birthday vibes. All right, let's start with our first spin. Let's see if I can get past that stop sign. I can. All right. 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes! My choice. And I'm keeping my choice because it is my birthday. I get like a present to me. And that is YA fantasy. So I've got to read a YA fantasy of my choice. All right, so that first spin turned out perfectly. So this is a YA fantasy, my choice. And this book will actually fit in later on, which I will tell you about later on. And I'll be reading The Bear and the Nightingale by Katherine Arden. This is a book about a young girl who lives in this small village in Russia, and her family really is focused on folklore and folk tales and paying tribute to the house sprites and the different entities that keep their harvests going well and whatnot. When her widowed father marries a woman from Moscow and brings her back home, she is this really devout woman who is very strict. It doesn't believe any of the folk tales because to her it's blasphemous, it's evil. The stepmother's trying to eliminate all of that within the house, and things start going wrong because they're not paying tribute to these entities, and the harvest goes bad, and things are getting worse and worse, and as things get worse, the stepmother is harder on the family, and this young girl takes it on herself to try and fix things within the community so that things don't completely become a disaster. Spin number 2. 1. Oh, perfect. Okay, so let's start with our very first birthday prompt. Amethyst in the title. Oh, that's interesting. My birthstone is an amethyst, and I have to have the word amethyst in the title for a middle grade. I might be able to make that work. If not, I know there are books that have the word amethyst in it. I'll double check. All right, spin number 2. You'd be surprised, there are quite a few books with the word amethyst in it, but as far as middle grade, there weren't a lot that I wanted to read. So I ended up going with a graphic novel, and this is Sword of Sorcery's Volume 1 Amethyst. This is a DC comic, and it's definitely got amethyst in there. And I know that this isn't necessarily called a middle grade, but it's a graphic novel, and I feel like a lot of people who are middle grade could probably read this. And I'm excited about this because the main character's name is Amy, which is my name, so it's perfect. This book was made for this prompt. And it actually works for my Buzzwordathon because for February, the prompt is read a book with a color in the title, and this has amethyst. I actually have another one that has a color in the title as well, so I'll be reading 2 books for Buzzwordathon. But this is about a girl named Amy, and she travels around with her mother, and they're kind of like on the run. They're constantly running from something. And at some point, Amy finds out that she is a lost princess from the gem world, and they're running away from their enemies. And what I forgot to mention was that this was written by Christy Marx, and the illustrations are done by Lopresti. Christy Marx was a writer for Birds of Prey, and Lopresti was the artist for Justice League International. So, should be fun. This is books 0 through 8 of the comic. I don't know if there are more. I'll have to look into that and find out if I decide that I want to continue reading it. I also need to point out that that is the 3rd time I have landed on a 1. So that's kind of scary. No more ones, no more ones. Okay, here we go. Oh, are you serious? Okay. 4th time landing on a 1. If I land on 1 more time, then I will add a book. So let's find out what my birthday prompt is. Setting in the Bay Area or San Jose. Okay, so I was born in San Jose, California, and the Bay Area is like the greater area surrounding San Jose. San Jose is actually in South Bay. So I need to pick a middle grade book that's set in the Bay Area. But I can make this work. I can pick a book that's set in the greater Bay Area. Middle grade was a little more challenging, but not too bad. I ended up picking Smile by Raina Telgemeier. She was the writer and the artist for this graphic novel. And I chose this because, well, you can see from this picture right here, this is set in San Francisco. This is Twin Peaks, you're looking out onto the bay. That's Treasure Island, and then you've got little Alcatraz here. And what island is that? This is Oakland over this area, and then you've got all of San Francisco right here. So obviously set in the greater Bay Area. I've spent a lot of time in San Francisco, so it's a place near and dear to my heart. And this is about a young girl named Raina. I wonder if it's like a book about her own life, like loosely based off her own life, because the author's name is Raina. Raina's a 6th grader, and she is going through the normal things that 6th graders go through. I think that period of life is so fascinating. As a biologist, the developmental phase of middle school is... Anyways, Raina's going through her life. It's definitely rough being in 6th grade. After Girl Scouts one evening, I went to Girl Scouts. I'm actually a lifetime Girl Scout member. After Girl Scouts one night, she falls or something and really hurts herself. She breaks off like 2 of her teeth, or it was really bad. So she ends up having surgery, and she has to have headgear and braces. And of course, that's incredibly embarrassing for a 6th grader. So this is basically a coming of age where she's dealing with all this mouth trauma she had to go through. She's interested in a boy, she's having issues with her friends, and then there is a major earthquake in San Francisco, which is not unheard of. So I'm really interested in reading this. I have heard good things from several booktubers, and it just sounds cute and endearing, a little coming of age story. Number ones. Okay, I'm passing stop with 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Diversity rep, and I get to buy an audiobook. What kind of audiobook am I going to be buying is the question. 24 letters in the title. Okay, so this is a strange one. My birthday is on February 24th, and I need to find a book that has 24 letters in the title, or at least close to 24 letters in the title. And this is a diversity rep of North America, not US. A book with an author or setting or characters from Canada, Mexico, somewhere else that is part of the North American continent but not in the US. Book number 4. Okay, so this one was challenging. It was tricky, and I did have to bend the rules a bit because I was able to find books that were 24 letters in the title, but to find it that were specifically North America rep, not the US, wasn't impossible, but it was just taking forever, and I wasn't finding anything on my actual TBR that would work. So what I ended up going with still works in my opinion, because I am picking The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. Granted, he is an American author, but he is from the LGBTQIA+ community. And his characters in this book are also LGBTQIA+. I'm really excited about this. It's definitely one of my most anticipated books, and any chance I could get to put this on my TBR, I had to do it. And so I'll be listening to it on audiobook because this was by an audiobook, and I did. I bought it, and I'm so thrilled. Like, I need to read this book. I've been dying to read it. The audiobook is being narrated by Daniel Henning, and I think he's a British actor. I don't know too much about him. I think he's been in a couple of things, but not well known to me. The book is about a man named Linus, and he's a caretaker for the department in charge of magical youth. And he does his job. He's helping all these orphans that have magical powers, I think. And at one point, he gets sent to this island, Marcius Island Orphanage, and he's to check on these 6 children who are considered extremely dangerous as far as I think that the magic they perform or what they're capable of. They are considered extremely dangerous children. So when he gets on the island, he's trying to learn more about these children and I guess see how things are going on the island, and he starts to uncover some things. And he's also getting to know Arthur, who is the caretaker on the island and is a love interest, so there will be a love there. And I don't know exactly what to expect. There are things that come up apparently that are scary or dangerous, but the only thing I've been hearing about this book is that it's just so heartwarming and just so pleasant. I love books like that, so I'm excited to read this no matter what. It's gonna happen, and I'm just super stoked. Spin number 5. 7, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I gotta stop here. Last birthday promise. This one. It needs to be an author who was born in the month of February. And that is a nonfiction. February's turning out to be a really good month because I'm really excited about roll number 5. This one ended up bringing up a book that I've been wanting to read for a while and just haven't been able to fit it in anywhere. And I'm blushing a little because it's written by my Hollywood crush, who is Trevor Noah. I'm a huge fan. And so this is a memoir about Trevor's life. Trevor was born of a mixed race union in South Africa during the apartheid, which was incredibly illegal. So he's born a crime because he's born at a time when his being alive was due to a crime that was committed. This is a coming of age story about his life and some of the stories from his childhood. I'm really excited to read this. I've been a Trevor Noah fan for a while. I saw him perform live in Texas, and it just, that kind of started it from there, and I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. So that's my choice for roll number 5. And as you saw, I didn't roll another 1. I'm very close to having to pick an extra book next month if I roll 1 again. But these are my 5 books, including House of the Cerulean Sea. Yes, it looks small, right? Well, this is not all. And so I'm really excited how the birthday edition turned out. This turned out quite well. It was actually perfect. All right, so now I'm gonna go over the other books that I need to read this month. And the first one is The Painted Drum by Louise Erdrich. And this is actually a rollover from December. I didn't forget that I picked this one for my challenge. I just wasn't able to add it to my January TBR. I wanted to finish that challenge even though I couldn't within the time I had. So what I decided to do was just take this book and add it to my February TBR. I might end up kicking myself for this later, but it's a nice little short book. And this is by an Indigenous author, Louise Erdrich. She's very, very well known and incredibly prolific in her writing. This is about a woman named Faye Travers. She is doing appraisals on this house in New Hampshire. She ends up finding this old Ojibwe drum, and we start learning the history of this drum and all the lives of the people it touched. So I'm really excited to see where this goes. I've heard great things about The Painted Drum, and I have read one other book by Louise Erdrich. Okay, so next I have buddy reads that I will be doing in February. The first buddy read I will be doing is reading 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, and this is a classic. It's a classic that I'll be reading with Liz from For Booking Out Loud, and I'm really excited to do that. Liz and I have done a buddy reading once before, and we had a blast doing it. I've really been enjoying getting to know her better through her content, but also just through interactions. And so we're gonna be reading this because it's one of the books she wants to read this year, and I was like, well, I own it. It's sitting there. I want to read it. And although I don't know too much about this, I know that it's about this family called the Buendia family, and they live in a mythical town called Macondo. And I've heard that it can be a little confusing at first, but once you get into it, it's beautiful, beautiful writing. I really don't know where the story goes. I think it's sort of like a generational story, but there is magical realism in this. If I remember correctly, it has something to do with this family choosing solitude over love or something like that. I don't know. I'll link Liz's information down below because she's a fantastic booktuber. We've been friends since both of us really started our channels. And so definitely make sure you check her out. Next, I'm continuing my read along with Shell for the Realm of the Elderling series. We'll be reading a short story from this book called Words Like Coins. It's a really short 35-page story. I don't know at all what this little story is about, but it takes place in the Farseer world, and it's like 1.5 in the Realm of the Elderling series. So we're reading that little teeny story, and that's nice little short one. And then we're gonna be reading this chunker, Royal Assassin by Robin Hobbs. So I just finished The Assassin's Apprentice, and I'm really excited to get into this one. I can't wait to see what happens next in Fitz's journey. Looks like he's getting older here. I'm really loving Robin Hobbs' writing style. It's not the most fast-paced book, but it doesn't matter. It's the detail and the storytelling. Her storytelling is just impeccable. She is an incredible storyteller. So this is 675 pages, but look at the writing. It goes all the way out to the edges. So this, and down to the bottom, look at that. So it's gonna take me a while to get through this one. He was a bastard too, who was supposed to be the king in waiting, Chivalry. He gets sent to the palace to live as a bastard, but to be taken care of by the royal family. And along the way, I mean, he struggles a lot, and he tries to find his place in different ways. He works for the stable, he gets training in combat, he becomes a bit of a scribe, and finally, for political reasons, he's really there to become an assassin. He's supposed to become a royal assassin for the king, so that as a bastard, he won't be a threat left out in the real world all by himself. All right, so now I want to tell you about Polarthon, which is a readathon I'll be doing the first week of February, the 1st through the 7th, and it's being hosted by JD Ray Reads, and I will link the announcement video in the cards above, as well as put all of JD Ray Reads' information and the announcement video in the description below. I'm gonna be on Team Walrus. There are 4 different teams. Team Walrus is being hosted by Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin, and I'm a big fan of his. I'm really excited that I'll be on his team. Also, you can double up on these prompts, but no tripling up. So I did double up for 2 prompts, and I will put the little diagram up here that shows what the prompts are for Team Walrus. First, everybody is supposed to read a polar fantasy, and for my polar fantasy, I am reading The Bear and the Nightingale by Katherine Arden. So There was a reason for this, and it is the polar fantasy for my readathon. Then there are the two prompts, Cold Waters and Arctic Setting. For that I chose Erebus, One Ship, Two Epic Voyages, and the Greatest Naval Mystery of All Time by Michael Palin. And Michael Palin, if you don't know, is from the Monty Python series. He's a British comedian, actor, and apparently he did a whole bunch of travel documentaries and is well-traveled. And I guess he likes to do historical research because this book is about the HMS Erebus. He goes from the time it was built all the way through history, discussing some of the big expeditions it went on. And these expeditions were actually mostly in the Arctic. It's definitely in cold waters, has an Arctic setting. And this is also the book that we'll be reading for my nonfiction book club in February. And it's perfect because I have to read it anyways and it works out for this readathon. I have heard really good things. It's actually got really good reviews. And I think Michael Palin's really funny, so there's a picture of Michael Palin if you've never seen him. I love books on ships, about ships. I don't know why, I just love it. I may not like books about islands, but I really like books set on ships. For the next prompt, it's Dive In, which is a book that you really can't wait to dive into. So for this one, I will be listening to The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. And that also actually, and I didn't mention it earlier, it also works for Buzzwordathon because it has Cerulean, which is a color. Last but not least, a book with a dark cover. So for this one, I mean, it's kind of dark. It's this book called Last Ones Left Alive. And the reason I feel like it's dark is it has some dark colors in it, but it's also kind of eerie. It has all this fog and stuff. And so even though there's lightness on here, I feel like it feels like a dark cover. Flatiron Books sent this to me for an honest review, and this is by Sarah Davis Goff, and I think she's a writer in Ireland. But this is a dystopian, sci-fi, and horror. It's set in post-apocalyptic Ireland on this little island. Well, at least it starts out on this little island where there's this girl named Orpin, and her and her sister have been training to combat flesh-eating skanks, but they're kind of safe on this little island. But something ends up happening and Orpin has to leave. I think she has to go to the mainland and she has to seek out this legendary band of female fighters. They're called the Banshees. Along the way, she starts coming across these skanks and some of the other things that are on the mainland in this post-apocalyptic world. I don't really know too much. I think that's kind of perfect for a book that's a horror. I don't want to know too much. And so I really want to thank Flatiron Books for sending this to me. I'm really excited to get into it and I'll see what I think. So that's it for my February TBR. If you've read these books, let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of them. I'm really excited. I have some amazing books on my TBR this month and I really hope I can get to everything. It is a shorter month. We'll see. But it is my birthday month, so I can read however much I want to. Don't forget to check out Magda's spins. I will be adding them at the end of this. And if you like this video, click the like button and subscribe now so you can find out how well I get through all these books. See if I can do it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later. Okay, so let's see what Magda's spins are gonna be. And just so you know, she wants to do my birthday prompts as well. So I'll be picking from the birthday bag. Starting here, I will actually be using the prompt bag instead of this prompt. Okay, let's see if she's passing stop. No. Okay. Pisces or fish in the title. That's kind of a difficult one. So this is an adult sci-fi that either has the word Pisces or fish in the title. Hopefully Magda can find something. If not, she could always do something that has a fish on the cover. Spin number 2. 5 again. The same kind of book. All right. We'll go with this one. Oh, interesting. A book that has the letters F, B, and Y in the title, but is not the word February, because that would be too easy. And this is also an adult sci-fi, so Magda's gonna be reading a lot of sci-fi this month. Let's see if we can get her past that stop sign. Yes, okay. Really? Magda, you're gonna be reading all sci-fi this month. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, a regular prompt. So let's go back to the prompt bag and choose this one. Red cover. Oh, that should be easy. Sci-fi with a red cover. I wonder if Red Rising would count for this one. Have you read Red Rising, Magda? I'm dying to read that book. I'm sure there's a lot of great sci-fi that have red covers. And I picked this prompt because February is the month of love. It's the Valentine's Day month. Spin number 4. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, Magda, you might have to add an extra book. Let me check your spins, hold on. So considering the number of spins I did for Magda last month, she has actually landed on number 5 6 times. So that means that she's gonna be getting an extra spin, so we'll be doing one more spin for Magda today. That is insane. We did roll a 5, so let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's a book card. So let's see who's gonna be picking a book for Magda. A Shell pick. Magda, Shell's gonna be picking a sci-fi for you.
Hey Magda, your sci-fi book recommendation is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. Have fun.
Spin number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I would think Magda would want my choice. So we're gonna move her 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to my choice. And this is a nonfiction. Wow, Magda. You're not getting the best rolls again this month. I really don't do you well in this game. Okay, and we got one more roll. Roll number 6. Oh, 7. Goodness. Whew, Magda, I'm not rolling well for you. We've only got 4 7s for you so far, so don't have to add another book, but let's see where you go with this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're getting along on the board. All right, let's see this one. Book that was written in the year of Dad's birth. This is a book that has Europe or Australia rep, so written by a European or Australian author, or has a character that's European Australian, or is set in Europe or Australia. My dad was born in 1954, so if you want to use that, Magda, you absolutely can. Otherwise, you could use one when your dad was born. Okay, so that's it for Magda's rolls. Not too bad, but a lot of sci-fi this month, and it should be interesting to see what she comes up with. She's gonna be commenting down in the comment section below, letting you know what books she decided to choose. And if you wanna use Magda's rolls, you're totally encouraged to. Also, down below in the description, I'm gonna be adding a link that gives you more information on my board and all my prompts and everything so that you could play if you wanted to. And in there, I will be adding a list of all my birthday prompts, so if you're just curious what birthday prompts I came up with, go ahead and check out that link. And if you'd like to use my birthday prompts and play along, that would be awesome, because I think we should all celebrate. February is a great month, a good time to celebrate. We could all use a little bit of celebration right now.